Looks like it's gonna be us. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Now I know things are about to get nasty. Things are gonna get close and intimate, aggressive. But that's why we do this every year.
Definitely intimate, yeah.
Who wants to do the honors?
I'll do it.
Damn. Low Quality Islanders is kind of hot, though.
Low quality fans, high quality Bruins team, W. Not only did we win this game, but it is our second pair of back-to-back wins in 24 games. That is insane to say out loud. I cannot believe that. But let's not be negative. Yes, this win was built off of 2 fluky goals. And yes, there were a bunch of defensive lapses that Swayman. Oh! Does anyone know that reference? Fighter of the Ovechkin. Oh! Still don't get the reference? But Swayman saved our asses. Like big time. But before we get all into that, now Bjork is benched for the 3rd straight game, and I think we're all thinking the same thing here. He has to be involved in every trade conversation that we're having right now, because he is not someone you would keep benched when you're putting Bleed in your lineup. And the fact that Bleed got the start over Frederick is insane to me. I know I've been critical about Frederick, but that doesn't make sense unless also maybe Frederick's in some of these conversations. I don't think that's true. Bjork, I think, very much is in these conversations. Also, the fact that Swayman got another start in a row is surprising. He didn't need to have this start. It wasn't required because Vladar needed more rest. I just honestly think that they saw Swayman and went, wow, he is a lot more consistent than our boy Vladar. I wouldn't be surprised if he started the next game too. Game starts and I was unprepared. I was kind of just settling in, you got your snacks, you got your drinks, and you're just getting ready to watch the game. And 33 seconds in, or should I say 30, Lauzon takes a shot from the point, and it takes some weird bounces and trickles right through Samsonov. Slowly. It was one of those fun goals that you get to watch slide in where you're like, seriously, watching that puck go in was like watching anyone try to parallel park. Took forever. I mean, all the stats were saying eventually we were going to get a little puck luck back, and this was kind of the game for it. 4 minutes into the game, and we do force a power play. We do nothing with it, but I bring it up because Zaboral wins a puck battle on the boards and gets tripped as he's escaping. It's a really good start for him, and he has a great bounce back game, which is... God, felt nice to see. We do get another power play chance this period. Again, we do nothing with it, really kind of stagnant. The biggest issue is trying to get into the zone after the initial clear. We're so bad at setting back up. Turns out it wouldn't matter all that much, at least in the first period, because our 4th line forces some nice pressure with the forecheck, and then Bleed is just the beneficiary of a really weird bounce. This was really hard to follow no matter how many times you watch the replay, but basically behind Samsonov's net, and it's a weird bounce off the boards, and Bleed just gets lucky. It goes to him, Samsonov thinks it's going right, Bleed's left with the puck and just puts it into the empty net. Boom, 2-0 on 2 very lucky goals. But let's not shit on ourselves for getting lucky for once. We have not had puck luck this season. I think anyone who has played us can agree with that. 1 minute left in the period, and a weird scrum along the boards with Richie and Hathaway. Richie slashes him, Hathaway's getting in his face. Hathaway wants to fight, and Richie goes, all right, I guess, and just proceeds to beat the ever-living shit out of the guy. So, you're welcome, Hathaway, if that's what you wanted. The period will end with us on the penalty kill, but we have a 2-0 lead against a good Caps team, and even though those goals are a little fluky, you take them because the pressure has been there. And it's nice to see that with this depleted defensive core, with this struggling offense, we are getting some chances and we're holding the dam. 3rd and 4th lines looked way better this game. But I did go into the second going, I'm curious if we just immediately give it up again. And we would have, but Swayman with the glove save on Dowd. He has it in the slot and just fires a high glove and just a little bit of whoosh. He did a little bit of hot dogging with it. It was nice to get the glove up. Swayman has looked so good. 3 minutes into the period, we will go to the penalty kill, and it doesn't look great. It kind of looks like we're going to have some issues, but Marchand decides to literally undress everyone in the building. He completely flies through the defense and buries it far side on Samsonov. This was just a 2v2. Marshy, Bergy. Marshy comes down and absolutely toe drags the bejesus out of Schultz. And then it's just a simple cut back to his backhand, flips it past Samsonov, and it's 3-0! 3-0 against a very good Caps team in a game that McAvoy is out. Carlo is out. There's no Tuca or Halak. This is a nice game for us so far. That is Marshy's 30th shorthanded goal, by the way. After that, things get a little weird because Bleed is called for a trip on Lars Eller. The problem is that Bleed also gives him a little extra shove after the fact while Eller is trying to get up. Now, normally, you would go, yeah, that play happens 47 times a period. It happens constantly in NHL games, is you hit a guy down, you give him a little extra business. They thought it warranted enough for an extra roughing call, so it's a 4-minute penalty. But it gets worse, because with 35 seconds remaining on the first penalty, Zaboral goes for interference. Okay? It was kind of a weak call, especially to put a team on a 5-on-3. We've seen how severe it has to be put on a 5v3, but off we go, and immediately Ovi buries one from his office. What is Swayman supposed to do about that? The guy scored 200-something goals from that spot of the ice. I'll let Swayman go with that one. Problem is, it didn't go to 5 versus 4 after that, because they scored so quickly, it negated the rest of the 30 seconds of the first initial tripping call on Bleed. So Bleed still has another 2 minutes for roughing, and Zaboral has his 2 minutes for interference. It's still 5v3. They capitalize again, and it's Oshie from Ovechkin's office. It's suddenly a 3-2 game when we had an absolute chokehold on this. Washington gets a couple gifts in the form of penalties. We got a couple gifts in the form of lucky goals. It all evens out, right? We go into the third with a 3-2 lead. We've got to hold on. We've got to do what we can to get this dub because it's a huge game for us. The game builds in intensity. It gets chippier, but for the most part, it's even chances back and forth. Swayman again impresses by just his IQ and when to jump into plays and when not to, when to move up and attack and when to keep it deep. This guy's looking good so far. We get a power play with about 4.5 minutes left. Carr for hooking, and we make it count. Zaboral with a nice entrance finds Coyle in the slot. Coyle hits a post with his shot. It bounces out to Smith, who waits for Samsonov to come over because he's trying to wrong foot him from the circle. He fires blocker side. Samsonov gets a piece of it, so it's not really a snipe. Smith the sniper. But I'm not going to rag on the guy because Smith has 7 points in 7 games, albeit only one of those a goal. But hey, it's better than what we've had, so I'll take it. It's 4-2. The game will end that way. Game notes. Kevin Miller, again, massive minutes. He said himself that he wants to try to manage his injury after last game. Again, he played massive minutes. He looked amazing out there. He's a top 4 defenseman for us in playoffs if he's healthy. I really think that. Now, obviously, that right side is stacked with McAvoy and Carlo, but he's a great defender to have on the ice when he's healthy. And on the other side, you have Marchand making plays that make you remember that he's a dark horse Hart candidate. Now, he's not going to win because, McDavid's blowing the league away. But if they really take into account competition of defense, there might be some unique conversations this year for the Hart, and Marshy's going to be part of them. I will say, Swayman benefited from us clearing the puck out really well tonight, but he doesn't give up a ton of bad rebounds. He's very consistent in his positioning. His IQ is blowing me away. I love boring goaltenders. Now, my favorite goaltenders growing up, of course, were Hasek and Waugh and Brodeur and these guys who would make these big saves. But if you remember Waugh and Brodeur specifically, they were goalies who made a lot of the basic saves just look super easy. And not a lot of goalies can do that. And Swayman, although I'm not comparing him to them, is doing the consistency part. He's in the way, knocking pucks down, controlling rebounds. It's not wasted energy or motion. And I love seeing that. Unfortunately, Pasta continues to be lackluster, but if he can find his stride in that second line, the first line with Smith is working out. In the just under an hour of 5v5 time that they've played together, the Marshy, Bergie, Smith line, they've outscored opponents 7-1, outchanced them by 62% to 38%, and outshot them 65% to 35%. Those are great numbers. And if we can have a second line that's consistently doing well, Pasta finds his scoring touch again, all of a sudden, two really strong lines, not a lot of depth on the back end, but strong defense and strong goaltending, this team gets a lot harder to beat in a 7-game series. That does it for me, guys. Like and subscribe and comment and all that jank. I can't wait for this weekend. A couple more big games, Friday, Saturday. Let's get it. Go Bees!